Yo, the boy is back for Monday Night Live. What we used to call it back in the day. This is something new, though. This is something completely new that we're trying. Tony's 2-minute drill. We're going to just do it quick, all right? Quick ski. Here we go. Just fire that thing up. All right, a lot to get to. Week 3 of the NFL, 2-minute drill. We're going to do it fast. We're going to do it quick. We're going to make it happen. Solo dolo like we used to back in the old days. We got Monday Night Countdown, 27 minutes. We're going to get in and out here. I want to start with probably the most important game of the weekend, which was Rams-Eagles, right? Eagles look like they were on another tier of teams, and it felt like they were doing it with just sheer force on the offensive and defensive line, and then Jalen Hurts only had to throw the ball for 100 yards for them to get a win against a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. And it just felt like they weren't using the offense to the full capabilities of what they had. And we saw them go down 26-7, and it was like, damn, okay, so the Eagles are kind of cooked, right? It was a very weird situation where, remember a couple years ago where Baltimore gotten this typecast of they can't play from behind. Lamar can't throw to get him back into games. If they're not leading, they're going to have a tough time. It was like, ooh, they have to get a lead to be able to be good. And it felt like the Eagles were in that situation very quickly where it was like, oh, the Rams are just hitting them in the mouth and they're just playing a lot better. And then all of a sudden halftime, and Jalen Hurts started throwing the ball like he was the Super Bowl MVP. It was like, oh wow, okay, this is what we wanted. This is what everybody was calling for when you were throwing the ball for 100 yards. Now it's like 200 and some odd yards, 3 touchdowns in one half. It's like, oh, it's in there. It's in there. But let me tell you, the Rams are going to be a tough out for somebody in the NFC. Tough out for somebody in the NFC. I want to talk really quick. I want to give a shout out to the boys, Cloud Fleet Creation, the boy. Who's that? Jay Sock, to the boy, Fat Punk Bastard. All the big dogs as usual. Appreciate you guys kicking it. That was a fun game. The reality is the defense of the Eagles is just kind of on another level, and they showed that in the crunch time where it was like, all right, we need to get a block kick here, and then all of a sudden Jordan Davis, man on a mission, breaks through, completely flies through the defensive line, blocks the kick, returns it for touch. Even though they didn't need it, he just had to jump on the ball and the game was over. But he's like, nah, I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna take it 65 yards or whatever it was, run 19 miles an hour, 336 pounds. Like, what? 19 miles an hour, guys. I did this today, by the way. I did this today. In my neighborhood, I was going to the grocery store. I took my car out, pulled it out of the parking spot, started driving. I have a nice little stretch before I get to the stop sign and make a left. I started going 19 miles an hour. And I was like, damn. Imagine 336 pounds flying at 19 miles an hour. You don't realize how fast it is until you see somebody drive past you while you're walking and it's 19 miles an hour. Or when you're in the car yourself and you're like, I'm kind of moving. A lot of defensive touchdowns, a lot of fun defensive plays. I'm really surprised by a lot of teams, right? I was expecting the Packers to go in and absolutely smoke the Browns. And Jordan Love and the Packers have this weird tendency to play down to their opponents in a way that makes me really nervous. Like, they play up to a lot of teams, but they also play down to a lot of competition. And I'm just pulling up the stats here so I don't get it wrong. Let me see here. Jordan Love, 18 for 25, 183, a touchdown and a pick. Buddy, you are supposed to be the biggest thing in the NFC. That team has been Super Bowl blessed. Everybody's giving their confirmation. Okay, this is it. Packers are going to the Super Bowl. They got Micah Parsons. Their defense is figured out. They lost a receiver in Jaden Reed. He'll be back later on in the season. Like, Jordan Love has to figure it out. And obviously we know Toyotathon, Jordan Love plays great in September and October. You go to the Browns who've been demolished, okay, last week by the Ravens, 41-16 or whatever it was. And you're thinking classic game. Packers are going to go in, make things very difficult very quickly. They'll be up 28-7 at half. And it's like, all right, Packers are legit. Instead, you go and struggle against a team that has Joe Flacco. Completed 21 for 36 passes, 142 yards and a pick. If I look at the box score and I look at Joe Flacco, 142 and a pick, Quinshon Judkins, who actually had a really good game, 18 for 94 and a score, and I look at the receivers, I've got Njoku, 5 for 40, Cedric Tillman, 3 for 26, Harold Fannin Jr., 3 for 25, Jerry Jeudy, 1 for 17. I tell you, okay, the Browns lost 35-10. Browns lost 35-10. It was not close. Like, there's nothing to talk about. We're done here. Instead, the Packers let the Browns score all of their points with 3 minutes and 38 seconds left in the game. My daughter hates that. You can hear it from the side. You let the Browns, who can't score, if you allowed them to score, right? We saw that a couple times this weekend, where there was teams like, all right, let them score. The Texans let Travis Etienne run into the end zone completely untouched. And it's like, oh yeah, let them score. The Browns could barely do that. She agrees with me, see? There was Charles Barkley was talking about DeAndre Jordan and said if you locked him into a room, into a court, and had to come back like 10 hours later for him to score 10 points or whatever it was, he wouldn't be able to do it. That's kind of the Browns offense right now. They can't do anything. And then you let them do everything on top of a block kick, on top of going down the field and kicking a 55-yarder for the win. It's like, damn, man. And that's why the NFC is such a weird situation. Like the AFC, I feel like we have a little bit more of an idea. We know the Ravens are good. We know the Bills are good. We know that the Chargers are good, right? Like that's kind of who we have pinned as the good teams in the AFC. In the NFC, it's like, are the Lions good? I don't know. I don't 100% think so. Maybe. San Francisco demolished on one side of the ball. They've got nothing right now. Are they good? We don't know. They're 3-0, but like, ugh. The Rams, we think are good. 2-1, played a tough game against the Eagles. We think the Rams are good. We know the Eagles are good. They're 3-0. They've won 19 out of 20 games dating back to last season. The picture in the NFC is just weird. And you figured the Packers were going to take that step and be that step to be like, all right, this is us. It's our time now. And nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just an embarrassing performance from the Packers. I was really upset by that because it felt like they were just gearing up to kind of take the next step. Bucks beat the Jets 29-27 with another blocked field goal that got returned for a touchdown. Aaron Glenn going down the sidelines, kind of doing like high stepping Deion Sanders into like a Ray Lewis thing, and then not winning the game. Whew, that was brutal. That must feel bad. What else is there to say about Baker, right? What's not been said about Baker already? You have a guy who discarded by the team that drafted him. Carolina didn't give him a shot, had him playing scout team. They cut him. He goes across the country, same day, plays for the Rams. Has that one good game where everybody's like, oh, wait a second. Like, that's interesting. Baker is kind of interesting. Goes to Tampa, revitalizes his career. Liam Cohen, brings him back to life. And he's kind of been awesome ever since. And it doesn't really matter who he has from a weapons perspective. Mike Evans in and out of the lineup. Obviously, Emeka Egbuka has been a revelation, has been a godsend for Baker. Chris Godwin, when he was there, he was great. When he got hurt, it's all right. Next man up, Sterling Shepard, you're down there somewhere. I'll find you. Cade Otton, who runs wind sprints and occasion catches a couple passes. It's just I can't believe I can't believe how good, what a revitalization of his career Baker's had, to where we look back and we're like, he's, and I want to be careful to say this because it may be a hot take, but right now he's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Is that crazy? You guys tell me. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? Is he playing top 5 QB in the NFL right now? Josh, Lamar. You want to say Jordan Love? You can't really say him. Herbert for sure. Herbert, Josh, Lamar. Baker's got to be in there. Baker through 3 games, almost through a quarter of the season next week. Baker is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And if somebody would have woken up from a coma from 2 years ago and heard Baker is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL through 3 weeks, be like, what planet am I on? Because there's no way that I'm here in on Earth. There's no chance. My baby loves the Baker discussion. Don't let that fool you. The crying, don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. So Bucks come back and do it again. Like, he just has those moments where with 2 minutes left, he's going to come down and score. He's going to put his team's position put them in scoring position and make sure that they have the ball at the end of the game to either tie or win the game. He's already done it 2 times this year. And in a gutsy situation where you have a kick blocked, scored the other way, now you got to get back on the field knowing, oh, damn, all right, we got to go. Like, yikes. All right. Another thing I want to get to here as we go touch all the games a little bit. We'll start with some of the games we can buzz by. Vikings, Bengals. I don't know what to think of the Vikings. Are they good? Is their defense just that good? Were they playing a backup quarterback when they had time to kind of prep for him in a way that the Jags, when Browning came in after Burrow got hurt, the Jags didn't really know what to do. They didn't really understand the game plan for Jake Browning, and all of a sudden he lights him up is lofty, but threw 3 touchdowns, won the game. Feels like the Vikings saw what the game plan was and like, all right, we got Jake Browning, and absolutely demolished him. Isaiah Rodgers, first 99.9 PFF grade in PFF history, which is insane. Cloudfleet said he's the baller of the week, which I agree. Two forced fumbles, fumble for a touchdown, a pick 6 also. Like, Vikings balled. Carson Wentz didn't really have to do much. They've got the Steelers next week in Dublin. That'll be a fun one to see what the Vikings defense can do against Aaron Rodgers. But it just felt like the Bengals season obviously ended when Joe Burrow got injured with turf toe, but it seems now even more so. It's like Browning is going to have the books out on him already, and it's going to be tough for them to continue because, man, that was ugly. And I just want to say it was a perfect storm, but not good. All right, Steelers, Pats. Pats give up 5 turnovers for the first time since 2008 when Brady was out for the season, and they gave up 5 turnovers to the Steelers in 2008. Fast forward, 17 years, and Drake May had some costly turnovers, the fumble, the interception in the end zone, which the DB kind of baited him on a he was going with the out route on the goal line and then faded back. You got to put some loft on that ball. Again, that's me easy to say from my couch after not being hit for 2 quarters and a half. But you got to throw some loft on that ball. Go put that ball in the back of the pylon. Patriots have moments where they look good, and you're like, oh, this team has some players. This team is gutsy. This team is young, but they're hungry, and they kind of get it. And then they have those 5 turnover games. Pop Douglas catches a ball. The cardinal rule, it's 4th down. It's 4th down. You can't go backwards. You got to go forwards. And you go backwards and then get tripped up, tackled, game over. Rodgers played okay. I didn't think he played great. I think he played all right. I think the Steelers offense, I think the game against the Jets week 1 was a bit of a mirage on what that is. I think their offense is a lot more run heavy. They didn't have a ton of success on the ground today or Sunday, but it seems like their defense is going to kind of keep them in ball games, even though that defense hasn't been playing great. They just need to not turn the ball over, run the ball, and have Aaron be precise with what he's doing. That's kind of it. That's kind of it. Like, there's really nothing you could do. Nothing you could do there. All right, Colts Titans. Danny Dimes leaves New York. Had a little stint in Minnesota, leaves there, goes to Indy, and has now turned into basically Josh Allen light. Running, throwing. What else do you want the guy to do? 3-0. They punted for the first time in the entire season in week 3. And Shane Steichen was like, I almost went for it just to say that we didn't punt through 3 games, which would have been electric. But what else can you say about the Colts, man? Tough ass team. They're a tough ass team. Again, they haven't played anybody of real note. Like the Broncos have been everybody's sexy pick for, oh, they could win the AFC West. Oh, they could get to the wild card and make some noise. Through 3 weeks, albeit Colts ended up being a tough opponent, but they played the Titans week 1. Didn't really separate themselves. Didn't really do anything crazy. Win that game, obviously. Play the Colts. If it wasn't for a mishap, they end up winning that game. So that was a tough game. Then they go and play the Chargers and lose to the Chargers, a game we'll get to in a little bit. But the Colts turn around and looking at the teams, and you're like, all right, big, good win against the Broncos. Titans are not that good. Obviously, the Dolphins are not that good. When are they going to face a real test? When are they going to face a team that's going to give them some real pressure? And the good thing is it comes this week where the Colts travel to LA to play the Rams. And we just talked about already, Rams are tough as hell. So Colts Rams next week, I'm going to have that one circled big time because that's a big test for Daniel Jones, big test for Jonathan Taylor. The Rams basically held Saquon to nothing, didn't do anything against the Rams this year. Last year, he had like 275 yards and 19 touchdowns when they played that game in LA. I think it was a Sunday night game where Saquon just went absolutely insane. So Colts are going to be a fun team. Danny Dimes continues to play well. He's just Josh Allen light in the AFC South. Only if somebody would have predicted that. That's crazy. I don't know what happened there. Sticking in the AFC South, Jaguars, Texans. Both teams suck. I'm sick about both of these teams. I was so high on Houston a couple years ago. I thought Stroud was him. Nico Collins, one of the best receivers in the NFL. Their offense was just humming great and then just fell apart. Just nothing. Stroud can't play worth a damn. Nico finally had a good game, but there's nothing really there. It just felt like this team that was poised to be in the playoff conversation and winning the AFC South year in and year out has fallen on their face completely. There's nothing to do. They have nothing. Cloudfleet brings up a good point. Why pick Travis Hunter when you don't play him? I don't know. One thing I did realize, and I can't believe throughout my study throughout the summer of kind of learning all of the coaches and schemes and who's offensive coordinating where and what they want to run and everything. How did I not see it? Even though Liam Cohen, who resurrected Baker's career, I was like, oh, perfect. He's going to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. I didn't realize. I made a grave mistake in my observation and in my prognostication. Shane Waldron, who is terrible at his job, is on the staff for the Jacksonville Jaguars for Liam Cohen. Now you hear the name Shane Waldron, you're like, where do I know that from? What's the connection? How do I know that name? It's because when he was in Seattle, they were terrible on offense. He goes to Chicago. We have that clip from the Super Bowl where Jackson Smith and Jigba's asked, hey, what do you think about Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore with Shane Waldron? And he stayed silent and he said, good luck, which was, we should have known something was going to be up with that when Caleb Williams, who had the best situation going in for a number one pick ever, going to a team that maybe can win the Super Bowl. And then we see what we saw from Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze last year with Shane Waldron, where they had to fire his ass because he was terrible. And guess where he ends up? In Jacksonville. Guess who he is now actively destroying? Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr., by the way, not out of the woods by himself. 28% drop rate on the season. 28% catch rate on the season. That is terrible. That is terrible. Sick about that. Also, if you're going to draft Travis Hunter, use him. He was the best receiver in college football. You're going to tell me that you can't get the ball in his hands on some quick pop plays, on screen passes, and let him work? What are we doing? What are we doing? Shane Waldron here, we're 7:54, September 22nd on a Monday. Shane Waldron will be fired this season, in season. That's how bad it's going to be. Might be week 13, 14, somewhere later on in the season. He's going to be fired and he should not be a coach in the NFL. He should not be a coach in the NFL. He kills offenses. He is a serial offense killer. Get the guy out of the league. All right, I'm done. I got to eat more crow, though. I got to eat more. Because after I said on my Substack, on Tony's Top 5, where I wrote them down, a lie we had Atlanta's going to surprise people this year. Guess what? Guess who surprised? Me. Because they got their ass kicked by the Panthers, who hadn't had the lead all season. And they get beat like a drum. 30-0. The Panthers suck. Guess who sucks more? Atlanta. Guess who's an idiot? Me. Penix looks like he was playing JV. He looked terrible. Bad throw after bad throw, pick after pick after pick. Bijan looked good, but he can only do so much. It's like the Panthers are a joke. The Panthers are a laughing stock. And Penix just delivered a 30-burger. Here you go. Perfect. We will not score today. Parker Romo cut his ass too. Bring back Younghoe Koo. Commies look good against the Raiders. Marcus Mariota, gray hair, comes in. Didn't miss a beat. And if you know who I feel bad for in that game? Trey Tucker. A stat for the ages, okay? Stat line for the ages. 8 catches, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns, scoring machine all over the place on the field. Just, then it doesn't matter. Just, nah. Raiders 1-2. Genty, they're not getting him going. Geno's still slinging the pill, but commies look good. At least we know Marcus Mariota can hold the fort down a little bit until Jaden Daniels comes back and gets things rolling over there in Washington. All right, late slate, Chargers, Broncos. Broncos we thought had the best defense in football. I think they still do from a personnel standpoint. They haven't really shown it from a stats and scoring perspective. But Herbert is playing on another level right now. Justin Herbert is finally putting it all together. And he looks like an MVP. At the beginning of the season, when I wrote that I thought Brock Purdy could be the MVP, where I liked his odds, right, at plus 3,000 or 3,500 or whatever it was, I got helped out, by the way. A little bit of a makeup call there on the Brock Purdy situation because he got hurt. So obviously that lowers his MVP chances. Whatever, not the point. The point is I'm trying to make you think. Justin Herbert, one of the things that I saw, even though he was kind of floating around the same odds from winning the MVP, is like, man, they're going to run the ball. Like, that's what they want to do. Harbaugh runs the ball. Greg Roman likes to run the ball. That's what they are. From an identity perspective, they want to run the football. And what they've done, now Najee Harris tears his Achilles, which was brutal to see. Omari and Hampton got a ton of run. And I think they're going to allow him to get more and more feel as the season progresses, and they'll feed him a little bit more. They featured him basically yesterday after Najee went down. But they're just letting Justin Herbert cook, right? That was one of the cool things to see. And it'll be in my top 5, doing Tony's top 5 tomorrow on Le Batard Show. The throw that Justin Herbert had running to his left with the linebacker here, whipping around and then throwing like a 32-yard strike on a line to Keenan Allen was otherworldly. It was Patrick Mahomes level, like Lamar Jackson, like Justin Herbert, like that throw was crazy. That throw was crazy. So excited to see him really start letting loose and really start being able to command the offense in the way that they're using his strengths instead of just kind of hiding him and allowing their defense to play tough and get the running game going, which they did last year with J.K. Dobbins. And like, it just feels like, all right, Herbert's about to cook this season. It's good. That's going to be a fun one. Again, Broncos, Bo Nix. There was moments there. There was moments where they could have won the game. There was moments where it felt like they had the Chargers on the ropes a couple times, where if a couple things go some opposite ways, the Broncos win that game in a tough road win. But Broncos right now fall 1-2. I still like them long term, but they got a little bit of an uphill climb in the division. Seahawks absolutely blast the Saints. We know the Saints are bad. Seahawks, I'm surprised to see how good they look on offense. I really am. I thought their offensive line was going to be a little weak going into the season. They had some rookies on the interior part of the offensive line. Jackson Smith and Jigba, again, 2 years removed from Shane Waldron, is all of wide receiver 1 for the Seattle Seahawks that we thought he was going to be when he came out of Ohio State. And damn, I need to give a shout out to Brian Hartline, who is getting all these guys at Ohio State, because you look across the NFL and see who's making plays on Sundays, and it's Ohio State guys. Egbuka, game winners, Egbuka catching balls, bobbling in the air, getting 2 feet in bounds. I don't know how they didn't call that a catch, by the way. That was insane. That was a catch. The play before, he had like a 37-yard catch on the sideline where Baker put it right over his shoulder and a safety shoulder over the top. Sick. But Seahawks look good. That division is interesting. San Francisco at 3-0. Mac Jones held them down. We'll talk about that game against the Cardinals next. Mac Jones holding them down. San Francisco 3-0. Rams are tough as hell, 2-1. Seahawks, tough. I know they haven't played a ton of great people, but Seahawks, tough. The win against Pittsburgh, tough. The Saints game, again, you're supposed to beat teams. That's what I thought the Packers were going to go in and do to the Browns, right? 44-13, game isn't close. We're kicking your ass up and down the field. That's what it is. We're one of the best teams in the NFL. That's how you're supposed to beat bad teams. 44-13. Ass kicking. Belt to ass. That's what you're supposed to do. Not good. 49ers Cardinals. That game sucked for a long time. And then finally the scoring picked up a little bit at the end. I'm still tired of Kyler Murray. Still tired of him. That take I will never get rid of. Still tired of him. He can make some plays. That's great. But when it comes down to winning the game, he just gets very small. Very small and doesn't step up in big moments. Mac Jones keeps the train rolling. 3-0 for the 49ers in the absence of their number 1 tight end, their QB1, their wide receiver 1, their wide receiver 2. It just kind of doesn't matter. They find a way to win. Shanahan finds ways to put his guys in the best positions they can. And 49ers are 3-0. Wow. Bears and Cowboys. This one is just tough. This one is just tough, right? Because you see Chicago get manhandled by Detroit last week. You're like, oh, Chicago's bad. There's no way that they can be good, Like it's over. The experiment with Caleb Williams seems to be over. Bad body language, plays that you kind of scratch your head and you're like, how did he miss that? But the magic elixir, Cloud Fleet Creation has it right. The magic elixir for all things is that right there, the Cowboys defense. Trayvon Diggs. Man. Nothing like having the Cowboys come to town, or you go to Jerry World and then get an elixir like the Cowboys defense. Caleb Williams throws 4 touchdowns. I don't know from where. I don't know how. Rome Odunze just flying all over the place. Cole Kmet caught a touchdown. Like the offense looked great. Luther Burden on the flea flicker. By the way, DeAndre Swift almost killed Caleb Williams on that flea flicker. How do you throw the ball on a flea flicker where Caleb Williams has to catch it like he's Randy Moss in the back of the end zone? Insane. Still completes it. That was a tough throw too. Stared down the teeth of the defense, rushing in, and he let it ride. Luther Burden catches that touchdown. And it was just a route from the beginning. Ceedee Lamb gets hurt on his first touch. High ankle sprain. He's out 3 to 4 weeks. RIP my fantasy teams. 2 of those that are just completely dead in the water. My brother's somewhere celebrating like Drake on the sideline. Makes me sick. But the Cowboys are in a tough spot, man. New coach, offense that they've paid a lot of money for is not what they expected. Defense is even worse. Seems like they need a really good pass rusher, linebacker, edge. Hopefully they can draft one because, the implications of what happened. It's number 11 now, not there. Now he's with the Packers. Kicks your ass over there. You got Sunday night, Packers, Cowboys, historic game for America. Okay, America's team. And number 1 now in green is going to be going after number 4 in white or blue. Not good. Yeah, so Bears completely embarrass the Cowboys. And then Sunday night, Chiefs and Giants. The Russell Wilson experiment, we saw it 2 weeks ago where he threw for 530,000 yards against the Cowboys defense. And then I saw him do what he did last night. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, this experiment is over. This is done. The Russell Wilson experiment has had its time. He almost killed Malik Neighbors in the end zone. He threw 3 balls into the stands. In the red zone. On 4th down, he airmailed it. Tried to hit the goalpost. Like, what are we doing? Scatabo, tough. Scatabo is tough. I like the way he runs. I didn't know if it was going to translate into the NFL. He runs tough. Like him going forward. I think he's going to be a really fun piece. Chiefs offense, what can you do? I mean, no receivers. Tyquan Thornton, Patriots cast off, looked really good. Caught a couple passes. Caught a touchdown. Should have had 2. That team is going to be whatever Patrick Mahomes makes it. And right now it's a team that he has to will to victory. Defense is a little shaky to start the season. It's going to be an uphill climb for the Chiefs for sure. And we got the game tonight. I'm super excited for it. Monday Night Football, Ravens and Lions. Lions have been up and down the season. Ravens have looked good in places. Lamar is 24-2 against the NFC. That is foreboding for the Lions, who are living the space of they blow teams out or they get blown out. It's kind of like who are the real Lions? Are they the offensive juggernaut that we thought they were last year, or are they the team that we saw against the Packers where they were just completely outmatched? Right. This is going to be a really tough game for them because the Ravens are tough. Ravens are tough as hell at home. Lamar does not lose to NFC teams. Jared Goff is on the road at night, a little spooky, when that Ravens black comes on with the black and purple and the lights are on. Ooh, I don't know. All right, 2-minute drill. We'll be getting in just under 36 minutes. I'll try to be faster. We're going to try to move these to Sunday nights like we did back in the day. 2-minute drill. Appreciate everybody watching, everybody hanging out. We'll stream a little bit tomorrow too. Going to get back into our schedule. Try to do Sunday, Tuesday, Thursdays. A lot of good stuff coming up. Life has been a little hectic the last 2 weeks. That's why I haven't been able to put out as much content as I'd like to. Was out of town for a family getaway, then out of town for my brother's bachelor party, then just been all over the place. My wife went on my brother's fiance's bachelor party, so I stayed with the baby. It was like mayhem. But now we're locked in. Tony's NFL 2-minute drill, going back to Sundays in that nice little beautiful spot between the end of the 4 o'clock slate and the beginning of Sunday Night Football. We'll see you guys there this Sunday, back to back. We'll stream on tomorrow. I'm trying to get everything loaded up and ready to go for the 10-Day Tony Show podcast. So everything that is here that we stream will also be in podcast form. If you want to listen the next day, if you want to watch on YouTube, all that good stuff. We're going to have that ready to go for you coming up soon. I got to still figure out a couple things, but appreciate everybody who watched, appreciate everybody who listens, who supports. Go and subscribe to my Substack, 10daytony at substack.com. The links are in the bios. The links are wherever you find my socials at 10daytony. Go support the Substack because I'm doing a lot of cool stuff there, and I'm excited for the place to elaborate on some of the thoughts and things that I have that maybe I don't get to do enough on the show, on the DLS show proper, or on streams where it's a little bit more quick. I can have a little bit more time to think and come out with some interesting thoughts and takes and stuff. So a couple of things. Go follow me wherever you are on social at 10daytony. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, Kick, Twitch, IG, wherever it is that you're watching, however it is that you're doing it. I appreciate everybody that's watching on right now. So until tomorrow, love you guys, and I will see you on the show tomorrow for Tony's Top 5, and then tomorrow night, 10-Day Tony Show. Peace.